Hello PC enthusiasts! Today we're going to talk about the Streacom DA2 and some of its features and design and my overall thoughts on building in this case. This video is sponsored by Rush Systems Integration, premium gaming systems tailored just for you, starting at $8.99. Visit our website rush-systems.com to get started. So let's take a little tour of the system. Our front I/O is a single power button and a USB-C port, which is a pretty minimalist front I/O, but it makes for a very clean design, and there's not much happening up front. If we whip it around, we have our rear I/O, and a space for a 92mm fan and a 2-slot graphics card. And let's pop this bad boy open and see what's inside. So the side panels are pretty easy to open. You just catch it on the bottom here and the top just comes off. There's these rubberized feet here that keep it in place, so no thumb screws, it's completely toolless. And let's put this panel down for a moment. And as you can see, the main feature of this case is the sliding bracket system. And this allows for different sized radiators, different drive mountings, and different fan mountings. So here I've fit a 240mm liquid cooler, AIO. This is the Deep Cool Gamer Storm Captain 240 RGB. That's a long name. And here I've got an RX 580. It's a pretty big card, but it fits pretty much perfectly. The rail and bracket system was kind of fiddly when I started mounting it, but I think it's very innovative and allows for a pretty modular and expandable design. And you can really plan out your build according to your needs with this sliding bracket system. And let's take a look at the rear of the case. You'll get a better idea of the componentry and the layout of this case. Side panel is pretty easy to remove, just pop it on the bottom, and it comes right off. As you can see, I have the Corsair SF600, and I have my graphics card down here. So this case only supports mini ITX motherboards, or mini DTX, but nobody uses those. So most people will be using mini ITX boards for this. So in the Streacom DA2, you have to do things in a pretty strict order in order to build in this case. So the first step is to mount the motherboard. The second step is to mount the power supply and the drives. The third step is to mount the graphics card, and the fourth step is to mount the radiator. I found the extension cable running from the power supply to the rear of the case to be really fiddly, and the system wouldn't power on unless it had the cable in a very specific position. And this was very frustrating, as I had to completely take this bracket off multiple times. And when I finished building the system, I was like, why wouldn't the system power on? And I isolated it to the extension cable, and I had to remove this bracket 3 or 4 times in order to route the extension cable properly. And that was the main gripe with the system. And I'm always worried that the extension cable will move out of position when I transport the case, when I'm bringing it from room to room. Although that shouldn't be an issue for most people. There's one issue that I didn't see was pointed out in the reviews. Maybe it might just be my extension cable or my power supply, but that was an issue I had with the case. Another difficult part about building in this case is definitely cable management. As you can see, there's not much space to put your cables. You definitely want to go for a modular power supply, because there's no space to put extra cables here. And pretty much, there's not much space between the motherboard and the radiator if you're running water cooling. One difficult part I had about building the system was the last step, which was smushing the radiator into the case. And I had a hard time routing the tubes properly, and if you can see, the tubes are like going up here in the top. And I had difficulty pushing the radiator into the case. And I found it very unsettling to squish all the tubes in there. But at the end of the day, it worked. And I have a pretty clean looking system with very good water cooling from my i5-8400. Kind of outdated, but I built this computer a while ago. Yeah, overall, this was a pretty challenging case to build in, but it was very satisfying as it's very small, and I can fit a pretty powerful system in here. And yeah, overall, it was a very satisfying build. If you'd like a build featuring the Streacom DA2, go to our website, rush-systems.com. Builds start at $14.99 and could be configured up to Ryzen 9 3900X and NVIDIA RTX 2070. Thanks for watching.